disassembling the Xbox Series X. Before we start, please smash that like button to let YouTube know that we're doing the right thing. And subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Click the bell next to the subscribe button. And check out my vlog channel in the description box. I travel the world and I record my adventures and I put them up on there. So please check that out. This video is brought to you by FastTech Pro Toolkit, which is the toolkit we're going to be using to disassemble this Xbox Series X. Not only can this toolkit tackle this Xbox Series X, but any other electronic device. It even has a bit you can open up McDonald's toys with. So let's start. All right, now we're going to be disassembling the Xbox Series X. To start disassembling, we're going to look at the back. At the back of the console, there's going to be this sticker here that we're going to have to remove. And there's another screw hidden here under this sticker that we're going to have to remove. You can use this pry tool that's available in our FastTech Pro Toolkit, which we sell on our website. And you can use the coupon code YouTube for a discount. Link's going to be in the description box. You're going to need this toolkit to disassemble this Xbox Series X. And not only does this toolkit have all the tools you need to disassemble this Xbox, but it also has tools you can disassemble all other kinds of electronics with. I know I'm missing a few bits, that always happens. Please check out the link in the description box and use the coupon code YouTube for a discount. This toolkit's gonna come in very, very handy, not only for Xbox disassembly, but you can also use this kit to disassemble your PlayStation 5, iPhone, MacBook, laptops, or any other electronics. It even has a bit you can open up McDonald's toys with. All right, so we're gonna remove this sticker here with our pry tool. It's not a tamper-proof sticker, so even if you bypass it, it's not going to show that it's been bypassed. This pry tool is also included in our kit. I'm going to run it through the sticker and remove it without damaging it. There's going to be a Torx T8H screw here. And again, that's available in our kit. That would be the T8H. The T8H is right here in our kit. We're gonna get that T8H bit. We could use a regular T8, so we're gonna use our T8 bit. And we're gonna remove the screw. The other screw that we need to remove is hidden right here. The hidden screw is about here. We're gonna run our T8 screwdriver right through it. And we're gonna start turning anti-clockwise, of course. And the screw is gonna come out. At this point, we're gonna be able to pry this piece out. Like that. Like that. It's gonna start coming out. Then we're gonna pull it out like that. All right, it's gonna come right off. One of the first things you'll notice, everything is very tightly packed together. There's also a few cool Easter eggs in here, like the Master Chief logo right here. Everything looks labeled. It says right here, center chassis, disk drive's labeled. That's the disk drive right there behind this plastic shroud. That's the fan right there, which we're gonna be taking all of this out. So we're gonna have to remove this stand at the bottom. And to do that, there's a clip right here that we have to pull up. To remove the stand, there's a clip here, right under this tab here. This is hooked up to this, but right under that, there is this clip, which we can lift up. All right, you can lift that up. And once that's lifted up, once we lift this clip up, we can rotate the stand and it's gonna come off. Now that we've removed the stand, we're gonna remove these Torx screws. Now we're going to remove the disk drive cover, also a Torx screw. cover should come off as one piece. Again, everything's labeled. It's a very nice high quality metal cover for the disk drive cables. We're gonna remove the SATA cable for the disk drive. We're gonna wiggle and pull. Same thing with the power cable. And that's the Xbox Series X disk drive. It's the same model as an Xbox One S and Xbox One X. This exact same disk drive, so that hasn't changed at all. We're gonna open up the disk drive and take a further look. We're gonna use a Phillips screwdriver. After lifting the bottom panel off, we can see that it's the same disk drive as the previous Xbox One S and Xbox One X models. Same logic board. If your Xbox One Series X disk drive fails, you can replace it, but you would have to take this logic board out and install it in your new disk drive. There's 3 ribbon cables that connect to hold it in, and there's these 2 wires that you have to solder onto, unsolder and resolder onto the new disk drive. All right, let's move on. Now we're gonna disconnect the fan. There's a connector here for the fan. We're gonna grab it by the connector and wiggle and pull. You can also pinch the cables, but not one. You gotta pinch them all and then wiggle and pull like that. There's 2 Torx screws here that we're gonna remove. One in the middle here. And now the fan's gonna come out. As you can see, it's a pretty big fan. It's a really big shroud, really big face around it. And those that are interested, the fan model number is M11273664-002 Avid Thermal Alloy. That's the company that makes them. It's a very big fan. So obviously Microsoft learned from their lessons in the past, because obviously the 360s had major issues, especially the launch ones with cooling. And then some of the Xbox One suffered, but there were issues with the Xbox One X and One S that were heat related. Obviously cooling is very beefy in this thing. Let's put the fan to the side. Also something to note that this is a 12-volt fan. It's a lot more similar looking to the Xbox One and Xbox One S fan. It has more in common with those than it does with Xbox One X fan. All right, now there's some cables we need to remove. This one here, we have to remove these cables and get them out of the way so we can get the motherboard sandwich out along with the power supply. All right, now we're gonna have to remove these 2 cables here. We're gonna get our pry tool out of our Fastech Pro toolkit. It's this thing right here. There's get our Fastech Pro toolkit pry tool out, and we're gonna lift up on this connector like that. Gonna lift it up like that. You don't want to use too much force. These ribbon cables are damn sensitive. And should be released. There you go. That's the cable. And then there's another one here up top. This one, push down with our pry tool on the clip and then pull the ribbon cable out like that. Once those cables are removed, we're just gonna get this cable out of the way. There's some tape that holds it. Just remove that, get that out of the way. And now our Xbox Series X motherboard sandwich, power supply, and the heatsink should come out. We're gonna take a quick look inside the case. At the front, we have the power button, and that connects to the motherboard with this ribbon cable here. Looks like it's very easy to replace. which is a good thing because these do break. Also, we have the green piece of plastic that gives the Xbox that green look on the inside when it's standing up. And that's the board for the USB port and the sync button. That sure is a lot of circuit board for one USB and a button. With this new console, Microsoft was like, would you like some computer with your heatsink? And that's exactly what happened. There's more heatsink in here than computing hardware. All right, so that's the power supply right there. That's the power supply unit. The two motherboards are in here. And this right here is the massive heatsink. And it's a pretty big heatsink, not as big as the PS5s, but it's pretty big. So on the back side here, we're gonna remove this piece. It's a clip-on piece, it's rubber, it's gonna come off, it's like a strap. It does not hold anything in place. Now, we're going to remove the 3 screws that hold this network chip in. They're Torx screws. We're going to remove them and then simply pull out this network adapter. All right, so we're going to remove the screws that hold the power supply in. Also a tall screw.
This one here.
This one here. These 3 screws here. Shorter one here, longer one from here. Even the cable is labeled in this thing. AC cable routing. The clip here, snap off. There you go, like that. And now we can get the cable out of the way. And then this piece is gonna come off. We're gonna have to remove this shield also. All right, at this point, we're going to be able to remove this shield like that. And the motherboard is going to be exposed. Or one of the motherboards. Now we're going to open up this clip here like that. We're going to remove the power supply cable. There's a little clip here that you got to press. Press that little clip and then this is going to come out. There's one more connector here with a clip up top. Press and pull. There's one more screw here that we need to remove. And now the power supply should be free. That's the power supply for the Xbox Series X. It's a model 1920. And these power supplies, they run 110 and 220. So if you're in Europe, US, Canada, wherever in the world, these will work. Unlike the older systems, which is nice. So that's our power supply. If you have a powering issue, like after a surge, or a power outage, your Xbox Series X isn't turning on, you got to replace this power supply. And in case you guys need one, we sell them on our site. But do check the link in the description box for links. All right, here we have another Wi-Fi and Bluetooth module, which we're going to remove. There's a connector underneath. So to remove this network and Bluetooth chip, you're gonna pull outwards, and it's got a connector in there, as you can see. I'm gonna put that to the side. I'm gonna remove this shield. I'm gonna lift it up. Now we're gonna remove this connector here. It's got clips on the side that you can push it in from both sides, and then just lift like that. And now we got one of the logic boards out. This piece just came off, that's okay. That's one of the main boards. And that's the Southbridge right there. USB ports at the front, Ethernet. It says here M1157077-001. Here it says M11-26891-004. So one of these is the model number. Would you like some Xbox with your heatsink, sir? So it says VPR here, which probably means that this is a vapor chamber. Yeah, it is. It's a vapor chamber. To get to the main logic board, we're going to remove the bottom panel, the chassis, or the chases. Center chases, we're going to remove that. Get that out of the way. As you can see, this is that viscous thermal paste. Some of you might think these are thermal pads, but that's actually a viscous form of thermal paste. To get to the heatsink clamp, we're gonna remove this piece here. All right, we're just gonna pry it off. Be careful when doing this because there are sensitive components around here that you do not want to mess up. Just by prying it up and releasing these tabs here, these are the ones that lock them in. Lift it up, lift it up. Same thing here. All right, that took longer than expected. That's the revised X clamp that holds the heatsink in place. We're gonna use a Torx T8 to remove the bolts that hold it in place. Even though it is an X clamp design, it's not the same X clamp as the previous Xbox models. Microsoft really has a thing for X clamps. All right, let's take a closer look at the new X clamp. As you can see, there's a lot of tension on this thing, which means a lot of pressure on the APU chip, which is a good thing. And now we should be able to remove the motherboard from the heatsink. All right, motherboard separated from the heatsink. As you can see, a lot of thermal paste for the RAM, and that's our APU chip. And looks like Microsoft cheaped out on the thermal compound here. I mean, as compared to the Sony PS5, they went the liquid metal route. It's surprising to see that Microsoft would use some baseline thermal compound, even though they spent the money for all this copper and big heatsink and big fan extra cooling, but they cheaped out on the thermal paste. It's like buying a sports car and then cheaping out on the tires. The rubber is where you make contact with the road. That's literally what's going on here. So let's take a look at the motherboard here. That's the HDMI port. That's the retimer chip on the Xbox One X model. This retimer chip was a very common weak point. And if you're having any video output issues with your HDMI port, it could be this retimer chip, or it could be this BGA chip here. A similar chip was found on the previous Xbox One X model, but this is a different model number. Same with the retimer chip. It is a newer model number, so it might be more reliable than the older ones. We don't know yet. Only time will tell. That is the main logic board. Under this shroud here is where the NVMe SSD lives. We're gonna remove that and take a look at it. NVMe SSD inside the Xbox Series X. Let's remove the SSD. Remove the torque screw that holds it in. This is a Western Digital CHSN530 1 terabyte SSD. There's thermal paste inside the shield as well as on top to cool the SSD. And this is an NVMe SSD made by Western Digital with a SanDisk controller on it. So now I'm gonna go ahead and remove the old thermal paste. You can use rubbing alcohol to clean it off or any other compound cleaner. You want to be very careful when working on the APU chip and removing the thermal paste, because there's some very sensitive circuitry around the APU chip that you do not want to mess up. Once you've cleaned the old thermal paste off the APU chip, now that we've cleaned the thermal paste off the APU chip, we can see it a lot better. It says Project Scarlet. Now we're going to be cleaning off the old thermal paste off the heatsink. You see how easily it comes off in one piece? That's a sign of bad thermal paste. It's supposed to be more liquid. It's not supposed to be hard, and it's not supposed to come off like that. You can use rubbing alcohol or any other thermal paste compound cleaner, including ArctiClean, which we sell on our website, and I'll put the links in the description box for that. So I'm going to be replacing the thermal paste, and I'm going to be putting on Arctic Silver 5. We also sell Thermal Grizzly, and the links for this and Thermal Grizzly are going to be in the description box. We also sell liquid metal, so if you want to do a liquid metal application on this, we do have that option as well, and the link for that is going to be in the description box as well. We're going to be doing a video on liquid metal application on Xbox Series X in the coming future, so stay tuned for that one. I'm going to apply some thermal paste on the APU die. And we're going to be spreading it around. And we're going to apply the thermal paste evenly, like that. Now I'm going to take the heatsink apart to take a closer look. I'm going to remove the torque screws that hold the copper in place. All right, now the heatsink is separated from this part of the mid-frame / chassis. And I feel like this also acts as a heatsink. And this is, of course, the main heatsink, which is made out of copper. And this is a huge heatsink. This is a big heatsink right here. And that's thermal paste for the RAM. Lots of airflow, big surface area. And it's a vapor chamber. And I believe this is where you could possibly change the liquid in it. That's a video for another day. And thanks for watching another video from Fast Tech. Please smash that like button. Click the subscribe button if you haven't already. Click the bell next to the subscribe button if you want to get notifications. And please check out my vlog channel, which I'm going to put in the description box. And with that said, that concludes our video today. Don't forget to subscribe. Thanks for watching. This Young Tech God signing out.